the early 1800s, Francis Cabot Lowell traveled to England. People said he had a photographic mind. He memorized the way the looms in England worked, and he came back and he built his first mill. After his death, people took his idea and they brought it to a town in Massachusetts called Lowell. Lowell was strategically located on the Merrimack River, and they used the power of the river to power these mills, producing millions of yards of cloth each and every week. Thousands of people came to Lowell to become part of the first American Industrial Revolution, making this one of the busiest centers in America. The Industrial Revolution really means a change in the way we work. Before the Industrial Revolution, cottage industries were pumping out thread by using an old spinning loom. This particular machine hadn't changed for hundreds of years, but during the Industrial Revolution, man will use his mind to make technology do the work faster to make more money. Making cotton cloth for $3 a week, and those were in the good times.
Said, who wrote your name on your home? Yeah. You don't, but I want it. I have Harvard Your money. Cotton produced in the South is going to help the South become strong, but the North is really going to benefit with cotton. As you can see behind me, raw cotton will be taken, not only cleaned through the cotton gin, but then it must be taken and turned into thread, where that thread will then be put into a loom and turned into cloth. Cloth is going to be the money maker for our industrial North.
I'm standing in front of a statue commemorating Paul Revere's great midnight ride. Although it wasn't really at midnight, and it really wasn't that great. It is here that it all started.
Thank you.
All right, behind me, the Old North Church here in Boston. What's so important about this? 1 if by land, 2 if by sea. The gentleman, we all know Paul Revere, but he's going to make sure that a signal is placed up in the North Church. The sexton to that church, Robert Newman, is going to make sure that those two lanterns are placed up there to alert all the countryside the British are advancing by sea. This is a very interesting location. Men such as William Dawes and Samuel Prescott are out warning the Americans that the British are coming, yet that was never stated. One man, Paul Revere, the man known for such a midnight ride, he actually is captured at this very location right here. But it's kind of through a little chance that he gets to escape. As they go to take his horse, Paul Revere very cleverly tries to talk his way out of being captured. In the background, gunfire takes off and the British regulars disperse, leaving Revere on his own. Revere runs off. He is now a free man again to warn the people that the British are coming.
I'm standing just outside of Lexington on the main road that leads to Concord. It's on this very spot that on the night of April 18th, 1775, Paul Revere is captured by the British as he tried to warn the colonists, as the British regulars came to capture Sam Adams and his patriot rebel friend John Hancock. Not only was he captured, but if you take a look at this road, this is the road that the British took back from Concord after the colonists defended the Old North Bridge. And it's through this very thick forest of trees of both of conifer and oak that the British were murdered by the Minutemen with the guerrilla warfare of the 17 miles back to Boston. It is on this spot where the Revolutionary War began. Although the revolution began years earlier with tensions throughout the colonies resulting from unfair tyranny and taxation without representation. But it's here where the British encountered the Americans. On April 19, 1775, just as the sun rose, 700 regulars under the command of General Pitcairn arrived in Lexington. They were met by some 70 colonials, militiamen under the direction of John Parker. And although John Parker ordered his men to let the British pass by, there was a shot fired. No one knows who, but in the turmoil that ended, 8 militiamen were dead, 10 were wounded, and the Revolutionary War had begun. I'm standing on the Old North Bridge, just outside of Concord. It's here on April 19th, 1775, that the British Redcoats hoped to seize a supply of ammunition that was located on a farm just on the other side of the bridge. About 3 companies of American militiamen stood atop the hill, waiting, frightened to see what the British Redcoats were going to do. Close to 700 Redcoats assembled in this area, several hundred went across the bridge. When the British started setting fire to a couple supplies that they had seized in the town, the Americans thought they were torching the town and decided to attack the British as they were on this bridge. They came down the hill, they stormed this entrenchment, and the British were forced to retreat, starting their retreat back to Boston, 20 miles to the south. General Pitcairn, British general, said that their march back to Boston was as if they had begun a fiery march through the gates of hell.
Abraham Lincoln and the Emancipation Proclamation make way for more than 180,000 African Americans to join up with the North in our American Civil War. Behind me, this relief sculpture is dedicated to one of the first groups, the 54th Massachusetts. Behind me right here, Robert Gould Shaw, the man that takes the 1st African American Regiment into battle. One of their major battles at Fort Wagner is going to take these men where over half their forces will be killed. Their actions alone help motivate our country to win this Civil War.
Yay! I'm standing on the side of the Boston Massacre. It was on March 5th, 1770, on this spot where 5 colonists were killed. Although it was called a massacre with 5 people dead, it truly was not a massacre. It was started by several colonists who were throwing eggshells and snowballs at a guard who was guarding the customs house, fearing for their lives. Redcoats opened fire, 55, on this spot. Today, this is about the only spot besides the state building that has been left. And it's at this building where the Declaration of Independence was first read to the American people. And it's also at this place where the British were paid for their ruined tea from the famous Boston Tea Party. This is the statue of the great revolutionary leader Sam Adams. Not actually a brewmaker, but a revolutionary. He organized the Sons of Liberty, led them into the Boston Tea Party, and he also was one of the reasons why the British went to Lexington to catch him and John Hancock as they were hiding. But here you can see that his image has been preserved for all posterity. Two months after Lexington and Concord, on September 17, 1775, the Americans built a redoubt or an earthen fort atop Bunker Hill. Now the monument, the obelisk you see behind me, is actually on Breed's Hill where the battle took place. For some reason, it took the more popular name of Bunker Hill, which is the hill further behind it. But at any rate, it's on September 17, 1775 that General Gage loads 4,000 redcoats on barges right here, and he crosses the Charleston River and goes to attack the Americans who are on this fort. The battle lasts a few hours. Wave after wave of British redcoats are slaughtered by the Americans as they try to march up to Bunker Hill. When they do reach the top, the Americans are out running low on ammunition. Colonel William Prescott says the most famous line in American warfare. He says, "Don't fire till you see the whites of their eyes." Hearing that, the Americans are inspired, but still they're low on ammunition. They start taking the nails out of their fort, they put them in their gun, they fire those at the British soldiers. Then they start breaking the glass bottles, they put the glass in their guns, and they start firing glass. But in the end, the British, who are the most skilled army in hand-to-hand combat at the time, overcome the fort and slaughter of just about 183 Americans. It's a costly victory, but well over 2,000 British soldiers will die on the fields leading up to Bunker Hill. And when it's over, newspapers will read about the slaughter of these unarmed American citizens. Little did they know the 2,000 British redcoats died taking that hill. But at any rate, now we have a war, and the revolution will continue.